So let's talk about creating a document the correct way. First, think about what you might be using your artwork for later. Will it be for something physical or something digital? Because there's really only two types of items that you can create. Or maybe you're going to use both. So physical things would be like a fine art print, a poster, a brochure, stationery, a cup, a pillow, a blanket. So many different like physical products, right? And then a digital item would be something like you're going to only use this on a website for a website design, or maybe for Instagram, or some kind of social media marketing. That would be a digital item. And maybe you're actually going to want to use them for both. So think about that first, and then once you know the direction you're going to take, you need to consider 3 items: dimension, resolution, and color profile. So let's back up and talk about dimension, resolution, and color profile. You need to know what size your item's going to be. And to know that, you also need to know what's the unit of measurement that you're going to use. Pixels are native to digital screens. They use pixels to compose everything that you see, and that's the unit of measurement. A pixel is really, really tiny. And that is how you're going to measure things that you're going to use for the web or social media or anything that is seen on a computer screen or a mobile device. And then inches, centimeters, or millimeters from the metric system, those you're going to use to measure physical objects like a fine art print or a t-shirt or a mug. So keep that in mind. Now when I use a printer that prints fine art prints, they always ask me for inches or something in the metric system. All right, and then the next item is resolution. Resolution is measured in dots per inch, or sometimes you'll see pixels per inch. So if you see DPI or PPI, that's resolution. Okay, now the 2 things you need to know is low resolution and high resolution. And low resolution is what the web and computer screens and mobile devices and all that digital stuff uses, a low resolution. And that resolution is generally always 72 DPI. And then if you're going to print something, printers will ask for 300 DPI. Now note, once again, let's say maybe you want to do something that has both a physical product and later you want to market it on Instagram or Facebook, or you want to put it on your web. Okay, well then you're dealing with 2 different DPIs, right? And that's fine, but always start then with the highest DPI, because you can always shrink down, but you can't enlarge. So if you want to be safe, start with 300 DPI, and then later, if you decide you want to use that image that you created on the web or whatever, you can shrink it down and create a separate file at 72 DPI. And then next, number three is color profile. Now, computer screens use a color profile called RGB. That stands for red, green, and blue. Everything that you see on a computer screen, believe it or not, is only made up of 3 colors and combinations of those colors. And it's created with light. So it's created with red light, green light, and blue light. And that combining all these little tiny pixels of red, green, and blue will create every color in the rainbow. It's pretty amazing. So RGB color profile works perfect for digital stuff, right? So if it's going on the web or on a mobile device, there you go. And then CMYK color profile relates to printed items. It's printer's inks, and they use 4 colors to print everything that's full color. They use cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. And they use dots too, but actually physical dots. You may not realize it, but if you take a magnifying glass to a full color print and look really closely, you'll find out that it's made up of little dots of cyan, yellow, magenta, and black. And isn't that amazing? And it ends up that the combinations of those create all the colors of the rainbow that way. So if you're doing something printed, you will more than likely use CMYK color mode. But these days, not always. Some printers actually use RGB or even ask for RGB. So when you're going to go and print something, it's best to find out what your printer prefers. And then also, I'm going to tell you right now, when I work on a computer screen, I go ahead and create my art in RGB because that's more natural to the computer screen and I can see my colors. But if I try to work with CMYK, that's actually for printer's inks and it doesn't translate as well on the computer screen. It may print out perfect later, but I can't see it on my screen as quite as clearly as I would like. So for me, this is just my little technique, is I start with RGB, and then later, once I find out what my printer wants, I can easily go into, let's see, you'll go into your actions menu, which you'll find out later, and I change it there. So that I will talk about in the export section of how you can change it. All right, so I hope that wasn't too much to take in, but those are really important things to consider, especially if you intend to really make art that works and maybe even make it a profession where you're selling it. All right, so in the next lesson, let's apply what you've learned and create a canvas.